After brown coal mining. A time of transition. Even after 5 years of redevelopment, overburdened tips, industrial ruins and exhausted mines haven't disappeared. The legacy of brown coal mining. Great effort, generous funds and much patience are required to do away with all that. In fact, the consequences cannot clearly be seen at present, but only after generations. In addition, there is nature's effort in many places on the desert tips plains, in the exhausted mines, whether in central Germany or in Lusatia. Sparse beauties, outposts of future life in an earthly moonscape, having come by themselves to grow further. Frogs, insects, a very special community that is. Where only a few years ago the excavators were digging for coal, the swallows now dig their homes into the Jibdin overburden, coping with extreme living conditions, both plants and animals. It's a deceiving idyll though, because the tip slopes may slide at any time. Loose sand, liquefied by rising water, loses its hold. A landslide that may be triggered by a minute tremor, a danger to both plants and animals, to the surrounding region, and particularly for the people. This process, which is called settlement flow, is not a theoretical scenario at all. Too often slopes have slid into the exhausted mines lake, pulling behind the adjacent land with trees, cars and sometimes even people. A fatal danger, that is. In 1996, about 16 million cubic meters went down in Lusatia. Settlement flow is one of the most dangerous legacies of mining. However, in many old industrial enterprises, the warning signs have now become superfluous, since the employees of the LMBV and hired firms have removed the dangers and cleared the sites. Inefficient and ecologically harmful processing plants, such as the Trattendorf power station, has been pulled down and redeveloped. The LMBV is an important economic factor. Today it's the enterprise's activities. Tomorrow it will be the use of the recultivated areas. The Sonne 2 briquette factory in Brandenburg's Großreschen has been closed down too, and so has the power station in Saxony's Espenhain, south of Leipzig. In addition, open-cast mines have been shut down which are no longer needed to meet today's coal requirements, and which are either harmful to the environment or exhausted. The Seesee Ost open-cast mine, for instance. The last coal train is rolling here at the Scheibe open-cast mine. The belts are running empty. Here the excavators have done their job. Open-cast mining, large-scale equipment removed, dismantled, scrapped, or preserved as technological monuments, such as here in Ferropolis, the Iron City, or at the Knappenrode Mining Museum. Clearing in the central German region too, at the Delitzsch open-cast mine. On the other hand, a museum landscape made of steel is emerging in Golpa Nord. Visions of the future, developed in dialogue with the Dessau Bauhaus.
Ferropolis und auch das industrielle Gartenreich muss eine Anregung sein zu einem
Ferropolis and the industrial garden area are exemplary for a new relationship between man and nature, vis-à-vis the cultural heritage and its leftovers. There won't be large industries here anymore. It is up to us to develop power, energy and fantasy from all this. That's the simple reason for Ferropolis and the industrial garden area.
Und dafür soll Ferropolis, dafür soll das industrielle Gartenreich ein Beispiel sein.
A former open-cast mine, redeveloped and redesigned, with new chances as part of the Expo 2000 World Exhibition. Already a highly frequented and unique site today. Nevertheless, many exhausted mines are still absolutely forbidden areas, where tips endanger the vicinity with their unstable slopes, where the groundwater is rising uncontrolled, where the settlement threatens to flow. Dangers which the LMBV has to eliminate in accordance with the Federal Mining Act. The miners have developed various methods to do away with these dangers, such as by means of dynamic intensive compacting. As a result of a mechanical impact, shock waves compress the soil down to a depth of 20 meters. Vibratory compaction is another mode, making use of a framework of compacted soil cylinders in the tip massif. Another method applies flattened support bodies which don't liquefy with the rising groundwater, forming sluice tips. The most spectacular method, though, is blasting, creating a compacted bank at the tip. First, the borehole is sunk for the appropriate amount of explosives. This procedure has a wide soil compacting range. Various methods are applied according to the local conditions, which have helped to safeguard about 310 kilometers of slopes. This is another task for the miners, the recultivation and reviving of devastated areas. Deserts are turned into useful regions after mining. To solve these problems, universities and institutes give a helping hand, trying to find redevelopment techniques requiring a minimum effort. To this end, the LMBV maintains a continuous dialogue with renowned scientists.
Wir sind zurzeit dabei, einen neuen Studiengang zu planen, der den Arbeitstitel Landnutzung
We are planning a new course of studies, which will be called land use, because many of our future problems will be problems of land use, such as the reuse of land after mining or former military training areas. The new course will be part and parcel of environmental engineering studies.
Und da wollen wir eben versuchen, einen neuen Studiengang zu konstruieren, den wir als zusätzlichen Studiengang zum Studiengang für Umweltingenieure dann einrichten wollen.
The research results of the students are directly applied to the redevelopment work, being part and parcel of open-cast mine short- and long-term planning. Landscapes under change. A region's economic perspectives depend largely on these positive changes in living conditions. Where the old mines were recultivated yesterday, nature has now settled down, opening the way for future use. This applies to Greenhouse in Lusatia as well as to the Goitsche in Saxony-Anhalt. Essential changes in the course of only a few years. A recreational area is forming at an exhausted mine, a place of reference, that is, for the Expo 2000. A landscape is returned to the shaken Bitterfeld. At Gräbendorf, the miners brought up brown coal for 8 years to feed a power station. The excavators have stood still for 4 years now. The slopes are being secured, the tips redeveloped. Years of preparation are required until the future flowing of the exhausted mine by means of a 9.5 kilometer long pipeline. This is the Olbersdorf open-cast mine near the Polish Oder-Neisse border today. Only a few years ago it was still an exhausted mine. And this is Nachterstedt, where after 150 years of mining, life and nature return to the region, where the soil is prepared for future use. Two lakes will emerge near Espenhain, separated by a dike to carry the future southern section of the Leipzig Autobahn. At Lippendorf, on the redeveloped old industrial area, a new power station is erected. A model even yesterday. Today, a visible sign of hope for the region's economic consolidation. One of the most important tasks of mine redevelopment is the normalization of the groundwater balance. Here at Losa 2, a whole system of reservoirs is emerging. In fact, this is the largest water project in eastern Germany. A very special and challenging measure is the underground pressure laying of a several kilometer-long pipe to connect the reservoirs, including water leveling and the construction of a hydroelectric power station. The reservoir system is an essential instrument to control the stable flow of the river Spree, affecting the water supply of both the Spreewald area and the capital Berlin. In addition, flooding such as here in Gräbendorf guarantees a good quality of the water in the new stretches of water, preventing acidification when the natural groundwater rises. Flowing in Kospuden too, to create an attractive lake with clean water for tourists on the southern outskirts of Leipzig. There has been flooding at Drei Weibern since July 1996. A natural groundwater rise would require decades. At Albersdorf too, the water has been flowing, filling the former mine as well as streams and ditches. The whole region's water system comes to life again. Nach der Braunkohle in December 1996. The pumps of the former open-cast mine's filter wells were cut off. Meanwhile, the slopes have been redeveloped and secured. The groundwater may rise again. Planning and design by LMBV, realized by its partners. Creating a future lake district in Lusatia and in the Leipzig and Bitterfeld regions, Europe's largest artificial lake district, 3 times as large as Lake Bodensee in southern Germany. Work for the miners for more than 20 years to come, creating industrial, trade and recreational areas as well as nature reserves, a place to live in for the future.